Welcome back into this week's Liberty Flames women's basketball show. We're now joined by Bella Smuda. Bella, first of all, welcome onto the program.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I always neglect to do that little bit. I don't know why. I guess you got in your head like the first question that you want to ask, and so I just forget to say, hey, welcome. It'd be like almost if you opened the door and invited somebody into your house at Christmas time, and before you said, hi, how are you doing, you just ushered them right in and sat them at the table and handed them some mashed potatoes. It's like, oh, well, you probably need some pleasantries first. But how's everything going? I know we've got some on-the-court stuff to talk about, but how are things going off the court?
Yeah, things are going great. Weather's starting to get colder and everything, which is not the best, but it's been good. It's been good just to get into the season, get into the flow of things, and getting ready to finish the semester, which I'm excited about. And yeah, it's exciting.
Do you get tired of the fact that because you're from up north, that people just assume that you're going to be completely fine with the cold weather?
Yeah, I know. And people they're like, you should be used to this. I'm like, but I don't like it. Like, this is not, it's not my favorite at all by any means.
Right. You could be used to knee pain, but that doesn't mean you like
exactly.
your knees hurting.
That's a very good point. A very good analogy.
Like, oh, you've had knee pain your whole life.
You should be used to this.
You should enjoy it by now, really.
No, that's not how that is at all.
Do you have knee pain? I brought that up just randomly, but I thought maybe I hit a nerve.
No. I've been playing basketball for a long time, so occasionally I'll get a little bit of knee pain, but nothing too serious, thankfully. That's
good. There was a play, and I forget which of the three games it was. Gosh, I should have written it down. You might remember which of the three games it was.
Yeah.
But there was a play where they just got a little bit out of control, and somehow you're on your back, but you've got the ball, and you're under the basket, and you tried to get it, and it hit the bottom of the backboard, and it kind of goes down court, and then you just are still laying there, and you just kind of laid your head back like, now I got to get up.
That happens sometimes. Because I'm a long way from the ground, and so sometimes when I fall, or if I, I'm like, dang, that's a long way back up, And I don't know why I tried to shoot the ball from the ground, but it's okay. It was an attempt, and.
Well, in your defense, if you don't shoot it in that situation, you're probably going to be called for a traveling violation because you'd have been sliding on the floor with the ball.
And I was kind of close. I was like, it wasn't that close, but it was like, it could have been worse.
Right. If you would have been about another foot out from under the basket, it would have at least gotten up above the rim, and who knows? It might that'd have been amazing if that shot would have went in.
They didn't put it on as a shot attempt though on the stat sheet though.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what the heck that was. I didn't even look back. I'm gonna have to look back and watch that and see how ridiculous I look, and I'll probably be like, what in the world? what are you doing?
Did they give you a turnover?
I don't know. I have to look.
Because if they didn't give you a shot,
I don't know what they gave.
The play had to end.
It might have been a turnover. I'll have to look.
I think would you rather have a missed shot, or would you rather have a turnover?
Probably a missed shot.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. That's a tough one because it hurts your field goal percentage.
Yeah.
But then again, the turnovers, those stand out. And when Coach Green's standing up there going, we had 4 girls that had 3 turnovers, that's going to stand out more.
Say you have 4 missed shots, like, depending on how many shots you took, like, that's, like, okay, not the worst. But if you have 4 turnovers, that's, like, that's pretty bad,
Yeah, that's true. Now, that's a good question, and the fact that you looked at the stat sheet, and this is no judgment on you for doing this, because I think I would have done the same thing. I would have probably gone, did they count that? I would have, like sometimes when someone just chucks one up from like 3/4 court at the end of a quarter, that doesn't always get in the stat sheet.
Yeah,
sometimes
true.
They don't count those, which
that is true.
I'm not sure why, because if it would have went in, they obviously would have had to have counted it, but they don't count it against you, so.
Yeah, very interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't envy the folks that have to do the stats. And for our home games, it's Paul and Joe and Todd and Ryan and Bill and those guys that are doing it, Spencer. But on the road, you never know.
Yeah.
So you feel pretty good that it's going to be consistent at home. But you go on the road, you never know exactly what you're going to get. Some people may give assists out like candy, and some might not.
Exactly. And it's so interesting because sometimes where like for block shots and stuff, I'll be like, I swore I had at least 2 blocks, and I'll have like 1, or like, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes where I'm like, I don't even think I had any block shots, because I always, you know, block shots are my favorite, so I always look at to see how many blocks I had. And then there's sometimes where I'm like, I don't even think I blocked anybody's shot today, and I'll have like 2. So I'm like, I don't really know how they gauge sometimes the block shots, because there's sometimes they definitely jip me on blocks where I'm like, come on, I know I had at least 3, and then I'm have like 1. But other times I'm like, I swear I don't think I blocked anyone's shot today, and it'll be like a few on there. So
yeah, I think you're right. I think sometimes, and it could be a misnumbered thing. They could get the wrong number. But I think in some occasions, especially if you just tip it, and the ball still goes towards the rim, they may, in the rush of trying to figure out who took the shot missed, who got the rebound, they missed the fact that it got tipped. Now, if you swat it and it goes into the band, they're going to probably know that had to. They're going to have to give you that one. So I'm not encouraging you to hurt band members, but if you're, you know, and I know the other side of that too is if you can block the shot and get the rebound, that's a much better deal, even though it is really cool on television or on the radio to be able to say, she hit the tuba player, you know. It's probably best. I think Bill Russell was really good at that in the NBA of not just blocking the shot, but keeping it in play.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you get somebody like Dikembe Mutombo, who I think was just trying to be intimidating, and so if you came at him, he was going to swat it and try to hit it 20 rows into the stands and then wag his finger at you and say, don't ever do that again. So there's 2 different approaches, I guess.
Definitely.
Well, let's talk a little bit of basketball, and then not that basketball is not fun, but then we'll get into some more like off the court fun things, especially as we're getting closer to, you know, we're in the holiday season now, and you and I have had conversations in the past that it's kind of something that means a lot to you and your family. You guys enjoy it, and the people that you're around from home seem to be your. Is it your favorite time of year? Christmas time?
It's definitely up there. I mean, I'm a big fan of, like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of warm weather. So I think my favorite time of year is probably summertime, but I do like Christmas too. I like being home and seeing family, but probably summertime might be up there. I guess that's like, I don't know if that's a time of year because it doesn't like, but yeah.
It's a long, It's
a long. Summertime though, I feel like is I love it. I love summer, so.
You could say like 4th of July time frame, you know?
Yeah, that's a good time of year.
Yeah, a lot of picnics and fireworks and those kinds of things. Yeah, I'm kind of with you because of the weather. I enjoy the summer weather more than the winter weather, but it is tough to not really have a soft spot for Christmas.
Of course.
Because even still, that's kind of the time where, in general, now I say this, and there's definitely people that work in first responders and police officers and things like that are working year round. But most people tend to have time off around Christmas, so they might have a week off. Students have time off. Basketball is off, so that week around Christmas, everybody's just kind of around the house. You got the fire going. You don't have to get out in the weather too much if you don't need to. And if you are, it's probably doing something fun, like going and looking at Christmas lights or caroling. Or did your family ever carol?
Actually, we did a few times with my church. It was like, I don't remember. I just remember we were going around and knocking on people's doors and singing carols to them. But that was when I was probably like middle school, maybe early elementary school. I think it was probably middle school, and that was fun because it was like we had a fun little group. And people seemed to enjoy it, so that was good.
Any musical talent in your family?
I mean, we all like music, and like my dad plays guitar a little bit. He doesn't as much anymore, so I played guitar a little when I would at my youth group or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I play occasionally. I'm not very good. I know like the basics, but besides
acoustic?
That, acoustic.
Okay, you never played ever try electric?
I want to learn though, but I haven't. But I think that'd be really cool to learn. I don't know if there's like a big difference between acoustic and electric, but I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't really know. So I'd have to.
That's a good question.
But yeah, as you can see, my knowledge on guitar is it's low, but it's like fun to play just like the basic songs, like the ones that are easy. So, but other than that, I mean, no crazy music talent. I think we love music, but it's not like we're over here having like rock sessions in the basement or whatever.
The only reason I ask is your family kind of reminds me a little bit of a family called the Petersons that are from, I think, very close to where you.
Oh, really?
From where you are in Pennsylvania. I believe they grew up somewhere in that area. And it's like a family that didn't start off as musicians, but they went to some bluegrass music festival, and the dad's like, we should try to do this.
Yeah.
And so they all kind of picked up an instrument or two and learned, and they could sing very good. And so now it's 3 sisters and a brother, and the mom plays the bass, and I think at one point the dad played an instrument too, and then now that they've got another person that's not a family. Anyway, they have like this show, and matter of fact, oddly enough, I'm going to go see them in concert
no way.
in a couple days. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so and it's very similar. It was just like a family that decided we're going to...
Hey, maybe I'll have to tell them. Maybe they'll watch this and they'll be like, wait a minute, Jamie, you're a genius. You have to do that. And we'll all just start a band.
Yeah, and this family, the Petersons, must be doing pretty well because that's their only gig now, and they toured Europe. They were in
awesome.
Ireland, and now they're doing shows. They're out of Branson, Missouri, so like their main show is out of like Branson. Do you know about Branson? It's kind of like a little Nashville.
Oh no, I'm not sure.
Or a little Vegas, to where it has a lot of shows and things. Or Gatlinburg, if you've ever been to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, where Dollywood is, and so you'll find little theaters.
Okay.
Myrtle Beach has a few theaters like that too, but to where you might have somebody that's it's more country music there, but it could be somebody who plays the violin. It could be a comedian. Who knows? But it's where they're out of. I'm sorry, I don't know how in the world we got off track on that.
No, it's interesting.
The Smuda family band is going to be performing at the Fine Arts Center coming up this weekend.
Be there, buy your tickets before they're sold out.
If everybody's acoustic and you've got an electric, then that might be a little bit odd. But I
mean, I haven't learned yet, but hey, there's time.
Different styles. Are there any girls on the team I know? We've had a few. I know Audrey in the past was a guitar player and worship singer and kind of filled that role. But are there any other musical talents?
I don't. Not that unless someone's holding out on me, I don't think so. I mean, there might be some that I'm unaware of, but I haven't really heard. I mean, some girls have good voices, but also, because, we'd be singing in the locker room and stuff like that. But I feel like a lot of time when we're singing, it's like, no, we're like being silly. It's not like people are like singing their best. It's like singing just to sing. So, but hey, you never know. There might be someone holding out, and there might be, but I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
Because that would be kind of cool, is if you guys could come up with a team band.
Liberty Women's Basketball performing this weekend.
Right.
Not on the court, on the stage.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and you could have, even the ones that don't have any great musical talent could be like the background dancers, or, anybody can be a background singer if you don't turn on their microphone, This
would be so funny if our whole team was just up there singing. When they had tryouts for LU for like the worship team for combo and stuff, and they were having them like downstairs, like where the Vines is, and we were walking past to get to practice, and they were like, we were joking with them, and we're like, we're coming, we're gonna come try out later, and they're like, no, serious, try out, but we didn't, because, we're not.
That's something to work on.
Hey, something to work on. So multi-talented.
For the spring semester, there's that gap there.
I could go at combo and just sing. Yeah. You never know what could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And now in the back of my head, I'm thinking, who could play the various instruments? Mm-hmm. Who's got good rhythm? Who's always going to be that's your drummer. You need them to be your drummer.
I don't know if anyone has the best rhythm. I'm trying to think if who can dance the best. I feel like that might show, because I feel like if you can dance well, you might have good rhythm. And I mean, Emily can dance pretty well.
I could see her being a drummer.
Yeah, me too. She's strong too. She could hit those drums hard. I don't know. So maybe.
All right. Well, we're off to a good start
for our band.
We got our drummer. I don't know, Coach Green. I feel like, have you ever seen those old where there's a guy playing a jug, where just boo, boo.
Oh, yeah.
You've got your jug player. Coach Green could just be in the background
I could see
with his jug.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone way off the rails now.
Very off topic. We might have lost some people at this point.
or gained them. There's some people that go, I'm not that big into basketball, but you want to talk about a band with a jug player? I'm on board. That's like the old Andy Griffith Show. Did your family ever watch the Andy Griffith Show? There was
I've heard of it, though.
The Darlin family, and which was actually a real bluegrass band that. Well, with the exception of the father who played the jug, he was an actual actor. But the rest was they just brought in like a real band and that had no acting ability, but they could actually sing and play the instruments and stuff. And so that was pretty good. So that'll be it. It'll be our version of that, I guess. Well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I promised that we would talk about basketball at some point here. So we've got about 5 minutes left after this quick timeout here on the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. Welcome back into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. We're here with Bella Smuda. And Bella, this season, your minutes have grown quite a bit.
Yeah.
In the last few years, you've kind of played that backup role with Maya Berkman, and I'm sure, and that was a really kind of a good system. I mean, if she got in foul trouble, knew that you could come in and that you were going to be able to fill that role. And if you got 10 minutes into a half, well, I guess that's the end of the quarter, and somebody needed a rest, you could play the second quarter if need be, and it worked out well. But I'm going to just guess that your minutes were probably averaging somewhere around 18.
Yeah, I think it's like 15.
Okay, maybe. 15. A little less than that. Okay.
16 maybe. I'm not sure.
And now there's some games. That Stephen F. Austin game, I think, might have been the one that stands out the most. But some games where you're talking about 30. It was maybe 33 or so. Maybe one of the max games. Endurance-wise, has that been something to adjust to? Yeah,
definitely. I think it's a little different because I think before I could go in for maybe like I feel like I would go in for maybe 3-4 minutes, then sub out, and like I was able to kind of talk to the coaches a little like more on the bench and be like, okay, I just went in for 4 minutes. What can I do better? Where now I think it's a little different. Where now I don't really have that opportunity as much to like which is good. I'm happy to like be in the game, but it's I think I need to now learn how to like adjust on my own without being like coming to the bench and seeing and talking to Coach Katie, because I always like try to sit next to Coach Katie and she'll be like, oh, you're fading away, or oh, you're like letting her duck you in, like you're letting her post you up too much or whatever. And so now I think it's the endurance part is fine because like we run up and down in practice, and I mean it is more tiring than before, but I think that part isn't too bad. It's just more now I have to learn how to adjust quicker because I'm not having as much time to go sit on the bench, talk to Coach Katie about it for 2 minutes, and then go back in. Where now it's like, okay, you're in for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and learning how to adjust as I'm in the game and not coming to the bench, talking about it, and going back in and fixing my mistakes. So yeah.
Is it almost causing you to have more of like a coaching mentality in your own head?
A little bit, yeah, of being just more aware of like what I'm doing, maybe like what I could be doing better, but then also now being more aware of too, like, okay, what can our whole team be doing better? Whereas I think before coming off the bench, it was my mindset was more like, I wasn't as much of a leader, I guess. I was just kind of like trying to, come and do my part. But now I think as I've gotten older, being like trying to be in the game and being aware of what I can be doing better, but also trying to see like, okay, well, what can the whole team be doing better so that we can all play together better, and like pointing that out to the guards and the other posts and stuff like that.
So the other thing too would be, in the past, you could come off the court and during a timeout or during halftime, you could probably have that conversation with Maya.
Yeah.
What did you see me doing while?
Exactly.
Because she had that IQ that where she could almost be an extra coach too.
Yeah.
Now has the role kind of flipped, and you're having those conversations with Emily and Caroline?
Yes, definitely. Where if I see, like if Emily goes in and I see something that maybe she could be doing a little bit better, I'll tell her when she comes out, or I'll tell her at a timeout. But even still, like, I talked to Maya on the phone the other day for like 3 hours.
Wow.
So
Where is Maya now?
She's in Greece.
Okay.
She's playing overseas. And so like that's what's so great about like, you know, Liberty and just playing this team, like even though she's not on the team anymore, she's still like, you know, gonna be my teammate forever, where it's like she's still watching the games and she's still like, I think it was after, I don't remember. I just had called her about something, and then we were just talking, and she was telling me about how she's doing over in Greece, and then she was talking about because she had watched the game, and just saying she's still giving pointers and being like, make sure that you tell the guards to do this, and you should make sure you're also doing this, and blah, 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 blah. And so it's nice to just, like, even though she's not, like, we're literally in different countries, to still be able to, like, get her advice on stuff, because like you said, she has such a great IQ, and so just talking to her about stuff is really great.
How does she like Greece?
She does. She really likes it. I think she said that it's a lot different, and like, you know, not knowing, I think the language is kind of, I think, a little hard, but she said she's learning, she's trying to learn. But yeah, I think she really likes it. She's playing fantastic. I mean, she's incredible. So
we'll have to find out can you watch their games?
I think that there is like a YouTube link. I haven't been able to really watch them because since it's such a different time too. Sometimes they're like at 7 a.m, and so but I think there is a YouTube link. I'll have to ask her though to see if there's another way I can watch them.
That'd be cool to see how she's doing. You lose perspective of the time frames of everything, because in the United States, professional women's basketball is in the summertime, and so you sort of look, people are, she's playing but she's overseas, so they're playing at the same time that you guys are playing, so kind of lost track of that a little bit. All right, well, I got to finish up with this. As we're recording this conversation, we're post Thanksgiving, we're just getting into Christmas, and we've talked a little bit about the winters and those types of things, but from a shopping standpoint, with Maya's name being mentioned, it's the perfect transition to say, not only did you guys lose some basketball IQ, not only did you lose a double-digit scorer, rebounder, you guys lost the best gift giver in the history of women's basketball. She was unbelievable. So there's no way I don't think, for one person to fill that role. But have you guys kind of had the conversation, all right, this year during our Christmas presents, we're going to have to all step up our game just a little bit?
I think if anything, I feel like it's like, not that we have to, because it's almost like now, I think it's almost before everyone was buying so much to compete with Maya at the time, and now that Maya's gone, I think people are like, okay, now we can make it a little less intense, like, you know. So
I got the perfect analogy. Liberty men's basketball was great with Darius McGee, but Darius graduated, and now it kind of evens out a little bit.
It's kind of like that a little bit, but we have to still, we're slacking a little. We haven't even drawn names yet, so, but Maya would have been on that like at Halloween, so we need to we need to draw our names like yesterday. So, but we'll figure it out, and it'll be a good time.
Well, next time you talk to Maya, tell her that we have given her the nickname as the Darius McGee of Christmas giving, because she was putting up 40 points a game whenever she was giving out gifts. Last year I had to go out to the trunk of someone's car, and she was just pulling stuff out of the trunk of a car.
She outdid herself every single year. It was like how? Like, this is insane.
Well, that's gotten me kind of excited about Christmas time. I was able to get a little bit done during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Did you? How did you do?
I've done nothing. I need to get my life together and start shopping.
I need to get my life together. I like that. Now, I'm not trying to put any pressure on, but I got to ask, has there been any conversations about, I don't know, whoopie pies or anything like that making their way down from Pennsylvania this year?
Hey, I mean, I'll have to see what I can do, but I definitely think that could be, I mean, every year, Karen Lawrence, shout out to you, she gets super excited about it, so I'm sure that this year will be no different.
For those that maybe haven't heard those conversations before and don't know what we're talking about, what is a whoopie pie? Okay,
a whoopie pie is basically like a cookie and then like a bunch of like cream, like whipped cream, like I don't even know what
icing almost.
Icing, whipped cream. and then another cookie, and it's like, and especially like the Amish people make those insane. And so it's like a big thing in Pennsylvania. So there's a lady from my church, and every year she makes like 70 whoopie pies. And she breaks when my dad or my parents come down to see a game. They'll bring them down, and I'll give them to the teammates, give them to the coaches, and then Jamie has his own special box, of course.
And I wasn't angling for that. I promise I wasn't. But those were so good.
That's her love language. She loves cook. Like, she's like a great baker and everything. So that's like her thing.
It's become a new Christmas tradition.
It's a tradition.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, exactly. Some places it's fruitcake or something like that.
Now it's whoopie pies.
And now it's
Christmas whoopie pies.
This is way better than some of the traditional Christmas things. Sorry. Other than the whoopie pies, what are some Thanksgiving / Christmas meal that if you go to the Smuda house, you're gonna find this?
So this isn't really like a meal, but this is just like a tradition. But it is it's like a little thing where it was like a Polish tradition that my dad brought in, and we have like this wafer, and everyone has a wafer, and you go to another person and you break off a piece of their wafer, and you are basically like, this is the reasons, like, I'm thankful for you and the reasons that I love you. And so you break off like three little pieces of their wafer, and then you go to the next, and they'll break some off of yours, and each time they break one off, they'll say something that they are thankful for about you and something that they love about you, and you just do that to everyone, and it's just a nice little tradition that we do. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that. So that's a Polish tradition.
Apparently.
Apparently.
That's what my dad said.
It's either a Polish tradition or it's your dad's tradition.
Yeah, that he did with his family. So.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. I hadn't heard of that, but that's pretty fascinating. It almost has kind of biblical sort of connotations to it, because I think when you said that about the wafer, I'm thinking of communion.
Yeah,
and that's
kind of true.
That's obviously at a different level of thankfulness for what the Lord's sacrifice has been. Now you're kind of taking that to a human level of what you've meant to me or what I've meant to you, and we're talking about. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit. Maybe I'll have to.
Let me know if it's actually a Polish tradition or if it's something just that my family made up.
No, well, if it's something your family made up, then that's pretty cool too, really.
Yeah.
If it's like a Smuda tradition, then. But so that answers the question of your family, your dad's side's Polish descent. Mm-hmm. Your mom's side.
My mom, she's like a whole lot of European. Like, she has it's like, because her mom was like from a lot of different places in Europe, and then her dad was I think from, I don't remember. It's a lot of European. She has a lot of mix of a lot of different things.
Gotcha. So she's a European mutt, basically, which not in a bad way. I think half of my family's kind of that same way too. German, and then the rest is just a little bit of English and whatever. Yeah. But that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy Christmas. We've got a lot of basketball to play between now and Christmas, and some more trips, and a lot of fun to be had. But once you do get a chance to go home and enjoy Christmas time, have fun with your family.
Yes, thank you.
And thanks for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you so much.